afternoon. It is Saturday, August 2nd, and this is Bruce Leonard Leans Left. While it's still legal. Still legal today, I believe. A lot of shit is legal, apparently. I will say this. It's a good time to be a sex trafficker. Apparently. Because you will get the sweetheart treatment from President Trump. He will personally see to it that you are released from prison into a minimum security facility where I suppose it's easier to kill you there. That's about the only thing I can think of why you would do this. Now, if you ever had any doubts before that MAGA is a cult, there is no longer any doubt. None whatsoever. And if you're a conservative, I don't ever want to hear you talk about anything ever again. You got no morals, you got no principles, you got no spine, you got nothing. What you have is a bunch of bullshit opinions about things you don't know nothing about, obviously. And you got a lot of moral stances that you will immediately back off of if they have anything to do with your dear leader because you are in a cult. Sorry. That's what it is, man. You are in a cult. How do I know this? Because it's already happening. Here's Greg Kelly from Newsmax. This is a direct quote. He pled guilty, this is Epstein. Yeah, he pled guilty to all that horrible sick stuff. But that doesn't mean that Ghislaine Maxwell is guilty. And there's a hell of a lot of evidence out there that she's innocent. Really. She was only convicted and sentenced to 20 plus years in prison for sex trafficking, and there's plenty of women who are alive right now who will test and testify to the fact that the bitch is a deviant. Where's this hell of a lot of evidence that she's innocent? And why is the mega machine all of a sudden protecting this pedophile sex trafficker? You gotta ask yourself. I'm sure this has nothing to do with the fact that Donald Trump totally had nothing to do with any of this. Even though his name's been scrubbed from the files, it's just as I have said. It's redacted. But I bet they redacted it with Sharpie or something that you can't take away. Because there was a hell of a lot of ink involved. It's like scrubbing his file. It's like, sure is a lot of Trump in here. Now you gotta ask yourself. First of all, you know that there are rules that the Justice Department has. Sex offenders are not allowed to be transferred to minimum security facilities if they have more than 10 years on their sentence or they're a sex offender. Those are rules. The first rule is any prisoner that has 10 plus years on their sentence cannot be transferred to minimum security prison. Secondly, any sex offender is not allowed to be transferred to minimum security without a special waiver. Where'd the special waiver come from, I wonder? And these people still support Donald Trump. Because it's a cult. There is no... It's a cult. I can assure you. These are the same people. For years. We're like, there's a hidden circle of rich pedophiles that control shit, and we're gonna find out who they are. Yes, they're you. They're your people. Meanwhile, Republicans, left and right, being arrested for sexual deviancy, child pornography, pedophilia. All Republicans. I have yet to see a Democrat. Now, Elon Musk claims that there's Democrats and Democrat donors in the Epstein files along with Trump. Now, if that's true, release the file. Because I don't care. I want all these people caught. And don't tell me that you're all about protecting kids and you're all about, finding out who these pedophiles are and getting rid of them when you find out that one of them might be your guy and you close the book. Shut the fuck up and never talk to me again about anything. You don't have any... You don't have a leg to stand on, what they say, the proverbial saying. We're way past the point of even talking about this. Everything you said, everything I said 10 years ago when I started saying this shit, everything is true. Everything has come true. And everything they vehemently deny. Well, we're not Nazis. They're fucking Nazis. Yeah. It's like, oh, we're gonna get the pedophiles, and Trump is best friends with them. Well, that's totally a coincidence. Trump's in the file. What? This can't be. Yes, it can. Well, she's innocent. She's a victim too of the horrible Jeffrey Epstein. Here's another question. Trump has told about 5 different stories now about why he broke off his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein, right? But the one he's going to now is that Jeffrey Epstein stole his employee from the spa who turned out to be that girl. I can't remember her fucking last name. Virginia something. Guffrey, maybe? She was the main witness who killed herself a few months back. Killed herself. Like many people around this case, she mysteriously turned up dead. Suicide. Gotta be suicide. Fucking kidding me. Anyway, at the time, this girl was 15 years old. 15. Why is a 15-year-old girl working at a spa at Donald Trump's property? And why does he remember her and her name 25 years later? Yeah, ask yourself these questions. And why is all of a sudden Ghislaine Maxwell, who stole the girl, she was the one who approached her at Mar-a-Lago. She's the one who talked her into going over to Epstein's house, that they could make her into a massage therapist and all these things. She's the one who did it. Now, why is Trump giving her sweetheart treatment and sending her to minimum security facility? Which, like I said, you need a special waiver to do. Who gave the special waiver? It's a lot of questions that aren't really being asked by, in the media. I'm so done with the fucking media. I am over the media. Like I said, they have not done their jobs at all. At all. Now, next week, the tariffs are going to kick in. We'll come back to this. Ghislaine Maxwell, I didn't want to talk about what happened yesterday. Because, if you ever recall, the other day, Scott Jennings had a big boner on and was talking about how the economy was doing so good and everybody said there was going to be a recession and this and that and the other. Well, turns out there is. The jobs number came out yesterday. 71,000, I think, jobs added. That's it. And the last 2 months were revised to minus $250,000 or 250,000 jobs to what they reported, which I thought the job reporting was strange anyway, because they were like, look, everything's going great. You're like, I don't think it is. I've been talking to people, I don't think it's going great. I've been watching the store, I don't think it's going great. Prices are going up, that's for sure. They're about to go up even more. So anyway, so what happens? Trump comes out. Don't like these job numbers. It was rigged. It's a hoax. They rigged them to make me look bad, and she's fired. He fired her. This is what happens in dictatorships. This is why most economies and dictatorships collapse, because what the dictator does is slowly tears down the entire system, including the monetary system, from the inside, and replaces it with drooling nutlickers who will say whatever they want. How much do you want to bet that whoever he puts into the Bureau of Labor Statistics, that all of a sudden, oh, the job market is booming, and the only person he's fooling is himself. See, this is going to cause a chain reaction, which is no one's going to trust what the Trump government says anymore, and the investors will start to pull out of this country. It's already starting. People aren't going to invest money in this economy when you don't know what Trump's going to do from one second to the next. There's no stability anymore. The dollar is losing its value rapidly. We're about to add another $3.5 trillion to deficit with this big, beautiful bill. He wants to install at the Fed another drooling nutlicker who will just lower interest rates at a whim because he tells him to. And that's going to cause even more trouble. You can't just lower the interest rates because you feel like it. These people don't understand. Like, I'm not an economist, but I know how it works enough to know that that's why there's independent Fed, because the president himself can't be calling the economic money policy because he's going to make it political. And you can't run it politically because it's not a political thing. We've made everything political, and that's the real problem. Science is now political. I don't know how that happened. You know, now it's economics. You can't just will yourself into an economy. It doesn't work like that. You're about to find out. We're about to find out. We're in big trouble. And no one is stepping up to stop this guy. No one. Nobody's going to do anything. They said, oh, even some Republicans were mad that he fired that woman. What are they going to do about it? If they were really mad, they'd call some hearings right now. They had some oversight. And they'd say, find out, like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Who are you going to put in charge? How are we going to know that these numbers are right and that you're not just cooking the books? Because, see, this is what Trump got convicted of in the first place. Fraud. He overvalued the value of his businesses in order to secure credit that he really shouldn't have got. And that's why he was convicted of fraud. He's about to do the same thing to the country. He's going to install a nutlicker in the Bureau of Labor Statistics who's going to tell you every month that everything is great. And, oh, look, we added 500,000 jobs. It's like, where are these jobs? Well, you know, it's hard to tell right now. Because they don't exist. This guy lives in a fantasy world that's not real. Sans facts, sans reality, and he's always had enough money to get away with it. But now he's running the country. And it doesn't work like that. He's gone bankrupt 6 times. He's about to make the country go bankrupt. The problem is the country can only go bankrupt one time, and everyone's fucked. There ain't nobody to jump in and save us. Plus, you think other countries are going to jump in and save us after the way he treats them? Meanwhile, he didn't like a tweet that this Russian guy did, so he sent 2 nuclear submarines. Nuclear submarines. And then announced it on True Social. I'm sending 2 nuclear submarines. He says, Trump says, words are very important. Real. This coming from the guy who says anything at any time. Who doesn't give a fuck if his rhetoric causes violence. You know, he doesn't care. He's telling somebody else they should watch what they say. Are you kidding me? We're in trouble, man. Big trouble. It's part of a nuclear war. He won't help Ukraine. But he'll send nuclear subs at the drop of a hat if he doesn't like what you wrote on Twitter. I've said 100 times, you could tell me this story and I'd be like, you're full of shit. This could never happen. I'd be like, I don't even think this could happen in another country. Oh no, it's happening. It's happening to us. We got us a big, dumb, fuck, clown president who thinks he's a dictator. I mean, he is a dictator as long as the Congress isn't going to stand up to him. In the Supreme Court, he's going to give him anything he wants. You should have read that they have plans to implement his birthright citizenship order. And it's almost basically like they're going to have a person in the room somewhere when babies are born. And if they declare them to not be citizens of the United States, they are subject to immediate detention and deportation. Babies. She's going to have a baby. They're going to go, oh, it's a girl. Yep, it's not a citizen. Here you go. Here you go. Get on the bus. Like, what? You're going to Seacott prison. Now, it hasn't come in, but they're just making the plans for if they win their Supreme Court case and the Supreme Court says he can get rid of birthright citizenship, which is written in the Constitution, may I add. So, if that happens, everything's off. Constitution is a piece of paper. Did you wad it up, throw it in the garbage at that point? It's written in there. It doesn't matter. Supreme Court says no. Trump can do this. The only way you could really get rid of birthright citizenship under the rules of the Republic is if they wrote a constitutional amendment banning birthright citizenship, just like they did with Prohibition. Right? They made Prohibition, and then they took it away. Constitutional amendment both times. So if you want to get rid of birthright citizenship, you got to make a constitutional amendment. Then that has to be ratified by 3/4 of the states. By vote. Or they've never win that vote. That's why they're not. That's why Trump's trying to go around and make an executive order, and then, which I think is pretty funny because it's an executive order, which means that the next president can just restore it. So, even if he gets his way, it's not going to be for a year or two. But you will have hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of babies who are born in limbo, who may or may not even have a state to call themselves a citizen of. What happens to those people? I mean, you would hope that if the next president got in and rescinded the executive order, that he would also like go back and re-citizenize these people, make them citizens. They'd be babies, still they'd be 1 or 2 years old, but they wouldn't have any citizenship anywhere because they were born here in a black hole of fascism, temporary fascism. That's fascism by executive order. The next president's going to have a really big job trying to fix all this. There are massive problems to be fixed. They've wrecking balled the government to the point that, it's a shell of itself. And who's left? Bunch of incompetent nutlickers, dumbasses, whose most redeeming quality is that they will grovel in front of Donald Trump and suck his balls as hard as he wants. What other qualifications do you have? None. None whatsoever. His main foreign envoy, who was that? Steve Witkoff, was a real estate guy who played golf with. He's now in charge of all major negotiations. It's unbelievable. Well, here we are. I don't know how we got here, but here we are. Well, I mean, I do know how we got here. The slow, subtle degradation of the public education system that's been going on since I was young. The creation of a brainwashing propaganda network that's linked with Russians somehow. All right-wingers all around the world. It's like a league now. That's why I like Orban and Putin, and he loves these guys because the guy in Turkey, he loves these guys because that's what he wants to be. A 2-bit tin pot dictator who rules by fiat and decree. He fired that woman for that jobs report, but if he could, he probably had her taken out back and shot. Because you cannot go against the dear leader. I mean, Congress won't. Senators won't. They've given up their power completely. I keep asking, what is it that he does? What is it that he's doing to castrate these people and make them so spineless that they're afraid to stand up to him? There's got to be something. I've never seen such nut-licking capitulation in my entire life. People loved Ronald Reagan, but they still stood up to him when they didn't agree with him. Trump demands total lockstep, or else they'll primary you out of your seat, or I think they said it. They said mass dudes to your house and fuck you up, kill you. But I can't prove that. Just like I can't prove he's in the Epstein files because he won't release them. The man is a criminal. Period. I guarantee he's done way worse things than you would ever imagine. And he lies constantly. Let's say yesterday when he lied, when he fired that woman, he said she tried to rig the election. That's his favorite thing. Like she tried to, she put out phony numbers around the election and about job report, and like you can see from the job reports, they're public. It did not happen. As a matter of fact, she cut the job report before the election. So she was trying to make Joe Biden look good. She didn't do a very good job of it because she revised downward the job report right up before the election. 2 weeks before, I believe. This is all a matter of public record. But Trump doesn't care about that. He said, oh, she inflated the numbers right at the election. Like, it's not true. It's not true. But see, you get to the crux of the matter. Nothing he says is true. Nothing. He lies constantly about everything. You can't trust anything he says. And now he wants to take control of this economic statistics so he can control them and lie about that too. I'm going to tell you something right now. People that have money are not going to put their money in this country. Matter of fact, if I had money in this country, I'd be trying to get it out as fast as I can. Because there's no telling what this guy's going to do from one moment to the next. And like I said, this place be crashing and burning. He'd be like, we're doing better we ever have. He keeps saying, we're so hot right now. Yeah, that's fire. We're about to simultaneously combust. Yes, it's very hot. It's unbelievable. There are 2 manhunts going on right now as we speak. One in Montana and one in Tennessee. Where you know, some hicks going crazy. This guy killed 4 people in Tennessee. Took a baby, drove it 70 miles, and then dropped it off in someone's yard. Told him to go pick it up. This country is off the rails. Another guy in Montana went into the bar that he lives next door to. There he hangs out all the time, they said. Walked in, shot 4 people. Drove off, went into the mountains. This is America. None of them are immigrants. Wow, imagine that. Who's the real danger in America? Seems like white hicks. It's like, they don't look like immigrants to me. Can you imagine being sent to Seacot Prison in El Salvador simply because you were in America illegally and had a tattoo? And now you're in a black hole prison in a third world country. And you look up and convicted sex offender Ghislaine Maxwell is at a Boy Scout camp. Minimum security prison. Yes, America. Wow, she's white, rich. Meanwhile, they were asking him, will he pardon Diddy? And he didn't say he wouldn't pardon Diddy because of the horrible things he did. He said he might not pardon Diddy because Diddy wasn't nice to him when he was running for president. Said bad things about me. There is not one redeeming human quality about Donald Trump or most of his supporters. They're soulless, fascist scumbags, really. You want to be honest about it. They have no morals, scruples whatsoever. They call themselves Christians. These are church-going people. You go to their churches, it's all hate. It's all hate. I don't know if they have this phenomenon in other countries where they take Christianity and they turn it into some kind of tool of hate. But it's incredible, like, effective gaslight to turn the teachings of Jesus into hate. Where Jesus was saying, help the poor, and and feeding people the 2 loaves and fish, and he fed all these people, and he goes into the courtyard and fucking flips over the bankers' tables and starts yelling and screaming. They're like, yes, he hates immigrants, and says poor people are lazy. Meanwhile, most of those people sitting in the church are poor. But they're white, they're white. It's a white supremacist movement, my friends. Period. It's a fascist movement. Period. And they say, oh, you just call us Nazis because you don't... You don't like our politics? Yeah, no, I don't. They're Nazi politics. I've said this before. You got concentration camps. You're rounding up people. It's like you're doing everything that they did. Meanwhile, let's talk about this ad. Everybody's tripping about this jeans ad now because Sydney Sweeney, she's hot, by the way. She got nice big titties, and she's standard hot blonde chick with blue eyes. They put her in these jeans. It's American Eagle, I believe, Outfitters, and which shocker, the American Eagle. You ever notice this? You ever notice people that wear stuff like with big eagles and flags on them, hats and shirts, and they're generally racist as fuck and and assholes, really. American Eagle Outfitters. I wonder who owns that. They're not Nazis, I assure you. Anyway, whether or not they are Nazis, they had the ad was like Sydney Sweeney wearing these jeans, tight jeans, to show off her ass and shit. And then, because that's advertising, sex sells. So, and it said, Sydney Sweeney has good jeans. And it was like jeans, like Genes. And then cross it out and put jeans with a J, Jeans. Jeans, And I'm sure some advertising fucking guru thought this was so fucking clever. It's such a clever pun, and I gotta use it. And things like this happen all the time. If you don't remember this, there was a Bud Light campaign where they were putting all these funny little slogans on the bottles, right? They said clever little quips that the advertising people thought was clever. And again, I said before, like they need to have at least one comedian on these boards, so that the comedians can tell them, when their little quips are fucking, they cross the line. It's not clever anymore. It's possibly offensive. But anyway, on the Bud Light, they had put on the bottle, the perfect beer to take the word no out of the evening. Which means they rape. Right? I mean... She won't say no after 12 Bud Lights. Okay, who's running this ad campaign? Bill Cosby? It's like, and how is there a board of people who approve this? Not one person was like, hey man, that sounds a little creepy, And I guarantee you this was the same thing. I don't think it was, there are people on the left, of course, who are like, this is a Nazi dog whistle, it's a eugenics and all that shit, and it could be. It could be, but I think it's more likely that they're just fucking stupid, and they did not realize that they were really saying that, but they didn't really mean to, or they meant to. There's only two possibilities. They meant to, and they're Nazi assholes who are dog whistling to the mega base, to buy our jeans. They're white. It's like, they're made buy whites for whites. Although I bet you if you look it up, that American Eagle jeans are probably made in Indonesia or some shit. They're not. Nobody makes jeans here anymore, I don't think. Even Levi's doesn't, I don't believe. All American company, Levi's. I don't believe they make them here anymore either. Make them in India or Indonesia, like I said, somewhere like that, because it's cheaper. Although maybe not now with the tariff. Might have to bring that back. Everything here is a warehouse. You ever notice that? If you work at Levi's here now, it's a warehouse where they ship all the jeans that they had made in Indonesia or wherever. They ship it to this warehouse and then they fucking package them all up for shipping out to stores and shit. There is no factories anymore. As a matter of fact, we lost 26,000 manufacturing jobs last month, according to the numbers. But according to Trump, these are fake numbers. That's like. See, that's the problem with their whole approach is reality doesn't give a fuck about your bullshit. Trump can try to bullshit all he wants. He can put out his number, any number he wants. So he can say, we created 500,000 jobs this month. He can say that. But they're not there. Those jobs aren't there. Which means those taxes aren't getting paid. Those people aren't making that money. They're not going to spend that money because it doesn't exist. We're living in a fantasy world now. With a machine. An entire billions of dollar network set up to propagate this bullshit. The internet will convince you that it's real. Meanwhile, you go outside, we're like, this don't seem real, because it ain't. The president spends so much time on the internet that tweets are causing possible war. When's the last time a president said, I'm sending nuclear submarines to anywhere? I don't remember. Because that guy said something about nuclear shit. Trump was like, oh, you want to get nuclear? I got the football right here. Like, I don't think you should have gave him that football, bro. This is not a guy who should be holding on to the nuclear football. Why do they call it that anyway? the nuclear football. It seems like a bad name. It's not serious enough for me. It's like nuclear war, And football? Don't spike that ball. It's a nuclear football. You better be careful with the nuclear football as you cross the goal line. It's like it's insane, man. But here we are. Meanwhile, everything's falling apart. We're going to build a $200 million ballroom. Have you seen a picture of this? It's the most tacky shit you ever saw. He's turning the whole White House into white trash. The big giant patio so they can play cornhole. A big gilded, gold-plated ballroom. So it looks like Versailles, right before they chopped off the king's head. That can't happen fast enough, you ask me. Where are all the guillotines? They need to start setting them up. Not to use them, but just to send a signal. Getting dangerously close to, Guillotine time. I'm trying to come up with some clever thing to say, man. Guillotine is not a very, we don't use them very often. Every few hundred years, you got to pull out the guillotine to send the rich people a message. It's like, you're getting too big for your britches. It's like, there's way more of us than there are of you. And we will prove it someday when we have had enough. People in this country are used to capitulation. They're also used to lying to themselves about what this country really is. They've been doing it since the country started. When they said, oh, every person is born equal under God, with except women and black people and them Indians that we got to get rid of. You mean white people? Yes. Yes, white people. That's what we mean. You gotta remember, we come from the British. The British. The most pompous fucks ever. They invented the colonizing. Them were the Dutch. The Dutch was pretty bad at it too. It's funny because before Britain started colonizing, they spent many years killing each other on the island over Protestant or Catholic or who's king and who is it, who's the cousin of the king who should really be the king, and it's an insane system. Then they would appoint a king and then go, oh, I think we appointed the wrong guy. But find another guy who's related to him. There's his uncle. His uncle's really the king, and then they kill the king that they had and they put in an uncle. This is where we come from. And you wonder why we're fucked up. Fucked up. There's no doubt about it. And then we were like, we can't take the king no more. Let's invent a government so there will never be a king again. And we did. And then the last 250 years, and now we're back to, we need a king again. Find the guy, the orange guy with the wild hair. Yes, get him. He's now the king. Well, he's a sex trafficking pervert. Well, we can, once we get in office, we can cover that up. The very fact that this movement exists tells you everything you need to know about the human race, and what I've told you a million times, there ain't no hope for us. None. We're fucked. It's just a matter of how long it takes for us to fuck ourselves all the way to the end. You got people denying climate change and shit's happening all over the fucking place. And they're like, it's a myth. It's made up by liberals. The harsh business. 99% of the scientists don't know what they're talking about. Because we got this one guy who says they're wrong. They trot that one guy out on every fucking show. Yes, they're wrong. All of your colleagues seem to think that the world is climate is being changed by man-made activity. Well, they're wrong. I have one paper here that I've written, not peer-reviewed at all, because they're all wrong. You go, yes, they're wrong. And they call the climate change people, 99% of the scientists, it's a religion, they say. Really, because the religion seems to be Believing in a story with no evidence that's complete bullshit. That's what religion is, right? It sounds like what you're saying. You got no real evidence to prop up your fucking argument that it's not man-made. Except going, this is was an ice age a million years ago. The climate changes. Yes, it changes. But not this rapidly. Without outside influence of some sort. It just happens to coincide with the appearance of human beings and the burning of fossil fuels and the industrialization of the world. We're building more and more tech, which ironically needs more and more energy to run it. We're going to kill ourselves. We're already doing it. And like I said, if the change in the climate doesn't kill us, the technology that we're building will eventually turn on us and kill us. Superintelligence. AI superintelligence. Zuckerberg wants to build AI superintelligence. His fucking AI can't even tell a joke from a not a joke and bans you on Facebook for picture of Hitler. Whatever. How about you get your superintelligence to tell the difference between a joke meme and a real meme before you start saying it's going to run the world? We are fucked. That seems to be the theme of this show tonight. It's just how fucked we are, because I don't see any way out of this. I don't see any way out of it. Anyway, my band's going well. Everyone seems 100% on board, and we all get along, which is rare. And I said I'd never do this again, but here I am doing it again. But I've enjoyed making some music, and so I'm gonna go out tonight and see. There's a show called they're calling it Headbangers Ball, and a bunch of local bands are gonna play 3 or 4 covers of like 80s metal songs. So it should be fun. So I'm gonna go check that out. So I'm about to re-enter into the music community, which I have not been in for many years because I've been doing stand-up comedy. But the comedy scene around here is very cliquey. And I've been gone for years and years, and my status of being from here doesn't seem to mean anything to them. So I stopped even going because I just felt like they didn't respect me. So I'm going back to music for now. And I can't tour anyway doing comedy. So, and that's what I really wanted to do, was be a road comic. And that's what I was doing, but I can't do that now. So I'm just playing a band around town. And we can go out and gig out, but we won't have to go on tour. You know, I can drive down to Louisville or drive up to Chicago or drive to Indianapolis. There's lots of Cleveland, Detroit. There's lots of cities close by, Nashville. Cincinnati's centrally located. We can go to Pittsburgh. We can go to Philly. We can go to New York. You can get to any of these places in like 6 hours, 7 hours. 4 hours to Chicago, you know, hour and a half to Indianapolis, 3 hours to Nashville. It's actually a really good place if you want to have a band and you want to like hit different markets. So that's what I'm gonna do. I wasn't sure if I could still do it because I haven't played in a band in many years, and I was like, can I even still do this? I don't know. I was like, well, I'm willing to try. We've written a couple songs. I'm like, yeah, I think we're on to something. I played for my friend. I was like, hey, man, we need someone else to listen to this besides me. It's hard to judge things when you're in them. You know, I mean, of course you go, yeah, this is pretty good. It's like, yeah, it's you. Like, you're not going to be like, this sucks. Like, I think this is all right. You know, so you got to find someone else. And you go, hey, man, listen to this for a second. Is Does this sound alright to you? He was like, man, it's much better than I thought. I was like, all right, that's what I wanted to hear. He was like, I was really expecting it to suck. Which I don't know why. I've never done anything that sucked. I mean, other people might say that, but the truth is, like, I have very high standards for myself. I'm not going to put out something that I think is garbage just to produce something. It's like I got to do something. Turn on the thing. This is the closest I've come to, like, just putting out some shit. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I just turn this on and I do this show. I don't have a script or anything. I just turn on. And I've never done this before until I started doing it. But even then, I had high standards. Like, I'm not going to... I've invested money. I've tried to make it, the best I can. I don't expect you to sit here and listen to me just mumble on and ain't got nothing to fucking say. Like I do some research and I do this show 3 times a week. I watch hours and hours of shit. I read voraciously. I try to figure, I try to be on top of what's happening so I can give you the current events, and I'm not just making shit up because that's the problem. That's why we're here now. There's too many people that have opinions about shit that they never took the time to learn anything about. That's some opinion that they got off the internet or something. They don't know anything about it. You start asking them, you go, you really don't know nothing about this, do you? You're just repeating what you're told. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I say that specifically all the time. I'm here to tell you what I think. What I think isn't necessarily what you think. And I don't expect you to think exactly the same way as me. Now, you might agree with me on a lot of shit. You might not. I say Bruce Leonard leans left because I'm not a complete leftist. Although, MAGA people would say I was, but I'm not a fucking, crabs should have rights, fucking, leftist. It's like, animals should have like, I'm an animal person, and if you fucking torture a dog or starve a cat, I'll kick your fucking ass, but I'll eat steak, fish. That's like I'm not a vegan. Those people get on my nerves too. That's why I can't say I'm all the way left because I'm not. At a certain point, they go, these people are getting on your nerves. Vegans are the worst. There's a trend now. I always wanted to ask this question. If there's vegans, if vegan lifestyle is so healthy, why do y'all look like cancer patients? No, I don't care if you're a vegan. I'm not like, I hate if someone says they're a vegan, I hate them or something. Like, no. But you can't tell me it's healthy when you're pale as fuck and got like dark circles under your eyes. You look like you just came back from chemotherapy. It's like, you need some protein, bro. Chickpeas ain't cutting it. Throw in some fish, an egg or two. It's like, is it gonna kill you? Can't have that. We're so fucked. Back to the central theme of the show. Today, anyway. We're fucked. So anyway, I've been writing songs again, lyrics, and a part of my brain that's been dormant for a long time is reawakened. And it feels pretty good. I still got things to say, and I still got a voice to say it. Believe it or not, if you were to hear me, I was listening to me, and I was going, man, people are right. Like, that doesn't even sound like me at all. It's I don't know how I do it. Somebody asked me, the guy asked me, because I can yell and scream real loud. Well, I'm not doing that too much because they're not playing metal, but like on my old music, I was yelling a lot, screaming. I got pretty good at it. And guy was like, how'd you perfect that yelling like that? And I'm like, I don't even know. I just kept doing it until I got good at it. But you have to have a certain amount of like, it's either massive ego or no ego at all to like just start doing some shit like that, like screaming full throttle without like knowing if you're any good at it or even not being that good at it when you started. You know, it's like it's because that was the ironic part was when I started, I was in a metal band, rap metal band, and they wanted me to yell and scream, and I was trying to do it, but I wasn't very good at it, and they were like, "Oh, you'll never be a," because I could rap and sing some, but I would never like I had never like yelled and screamed. I did metal vocals, and they were like, "Oh, you'll never be a good metal vocalist." And that really just lit a fire under me. Like, "Oh yeah, really? You think I can't do it?" It's like I'll fucking do it better than. And I learned to be good at it. But for a long time, I was mediocre. You know, trying. But then I figured out the secret. I don't know what the secret is. I don't know. Because that's the ironic thing too is I've been playing music my whole life, and then I started being a vocalist in my 20s. But I was rapping and shit, so I never took a vocal lesson ever. I don't know anything about like technically singing. I do know about projecting my voice from, like I said, from rapping and doing stand up to public speaking. Like, you know, that's a lot of comedians' problems, especially when they first start, is they don't project their voice. They're very meek, and like you can't be like that. You got to. That's how you control a room. You know, like I could probably do stand up comedy without a microphone in a good room, and like an acoustically good room, and most people can hear me because I can project my voice and be pretty loud. So when I go to be in a band, I'm the same thing. It's like just project your voice, but you sing this time instead of. But I don't know what it said. Again, I don't know if I would call what I do singing because I'm definitely not. I said Freddie Mercury or something. It's like a melodic Zach De La Rocha. You know what I mean? It's not like standard singing. I'm like singing like Freddie Mercury or something because I never could. You know, that was always what I thought when I was young. Was like you can't be a rock singer unless you're like Freddie Mercury. You know, and then as you get older, you realize there's a lot of guys that are singing in rock bands that aren't really even very good singers. It's all about performance and having a style that's like your own, and you don't have to be Freddie Mercury. You can figure out a way. Especially if you have effects, and you can layer things, or you can put delays and things like that. You can do all kinds of stuff. I don't know how I got off onto this. I'm gonna get out of here anyway. Because I'm gonna go see these bands. I said it's Saturday night, and you should too. You should go out and enjoy yourself because even though we're fucked, it doesn't mean that you still can't enjoy yourself because that's all we got left. So go out and enjoy yourself. And I'll be back Tuesday at 6 o'clock. I am Bruce Leonard. This is Bruce Leonard Leans Left. If you are watching this still, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I'm on here, I'm on Twitch, and I'm on Facebook. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Again, I am Bruce Leonard. This is Bruce Leonard Leans Left. Thank you for watching. Go out and enjoy your weekend. Be careful.